Welcome back to Cryptofocus. And as we keep growing, we keep bringing you the most interesting topics and the most interesting conversations. Um, Part of the adoption that we always foster in the market relies on being able to sit down and talk to the people who are actually leading the way and making it possible to connect traditional finance and decentralized finance, making it one market and making it one space for all. So when they told me, hey, Dhanum is available. And for those of you who do not know who he is, everything you're going to see on stage, the whole content that you're going to get to take home with you from Money 2020 in Amsterdam, thanks to Dhanum and his team. And I found him very humbling because in the pre-talk, I was like, Dhanum, what do you do? It's like, my team and I work on the content. So I expect a lot of great things from Money 2020. Last year we were there. We got to sit down with so many different banks, so many leaders in traditional finance, and also leaders in decentralized finance. And that's what we're hoping to do again this year at Money 2020. So, Danum, welcome to the show. Welcome for, yeah, I would say welcome in the Netherlands. It's a little bit virtual, but welcome to the Netherlands. And I'm hoping you're gonna be here in Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Emmanuel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to be on site at Money 2020 Amsterdam, well, Europe in Amsterdam. Big fan of Amsterdam. I've worked at startups that used to be based there. Spent a lot of time there, so really excited to come back.
Wonderful. So when you start preparing and when they say, hey, we're going back to the Netherlands, we're going back to Amsterdam, what is the first thing that goes through your mind when it comes to content for Money 2020, based on the fact that the regions are, well, inherently different when it comes from the US to Europe?
The thing that I always think about is how exciting the European market is. We're a fast-paced environment, but we're also a really considered environment. You have the European Union, which has a really strong regulatory framework. You also have the UK, which also has a very strong regulatory framework. And there's a real focus on not just having significant growth, but also protecting consumers and having real consideration of the impacts of technology before they're implemented in the financial space. So I think what I'm most excited about is how companies have to or get to navigate that, and it means that there's a real longevity and intelligence built in from the ground up.
That's very good. You used a very key word there, how they navigate that. I want to elaborate that a little bit because if you think about it, you guys are bringing the banks, you're bringing the payments, you're bringing policy, crypto, cyber, fintech, all of those in one room. Now, from your perspective, which one of these is doing the best job when it comes to navigating the market and remaining relevant?
I want to pull that back a little bit to what you were saying about how I said my team and I. And one of the reasons why I say that is because Money 2020 is a huge, huge thing, right? There's no way that one person could be responsible for any of it, for all of it, sorry. And I think the same is true of the financial ecosystem. So we talk about regulators, banks, fintechs, startups, scale ups. Who's doing the best? I don't think it's about who's doing the best. It's about the fact that we're all in it together, working to create a really incredible ecosystem. And there's so much to learn from everyone in the space, right? Whether you're a major bank that's operating globally, like 150 plus jurisdictions, or you're a startup operating in your one country starting from scratch. There's so much to learn from each other because the big enterprise players, sure, they have massive reach and they have massive scale, but the newer startups who are in the space, they're taking advantage of the latest technology across their entire stack. Right? There's so much to benefit from everyone from every angle. So there's always something to learn.
Okay, I've been looking at the agenda, and it right off the bat, you can clearly see that you guys are moving in a AI direction, AI centric direction. You are clearly involving the decentralized finance into the whole section as well. So, when did that switch happen, and how did it happen?
When you say switch, do you mean the switch to AI, the switch
The switch to the inclusion of all of these different specific points that, and I'll be honest with you, from the longest point, I've been in the crypto space for almost 15 years. there was always a fight and kind of like a clique of, hey, we're over here, you are over there. But clearly, Money 2020 is saying, no, there's no divide. Let's bring everyone together. When did that switch happen?
I think that switch really started to happen in the past few years, and we see it. We discuss this a lot in our book, the new intersection, that we'll be releasing at Money 2020 on stage in in about less than a month now. It's really about how the crypto industry moved away from trying to, I guess, replace finance and focused on working with finance. I think that was the real inflection point, or one of the real inflection points. And I think there was another is that institutional finance TradFi took advantage of the fact that all this new technology is here. The DeFis have built this, and it can be leveraged to great success. We're already seeing this happening with, banks like JP Morgan, biggest bank in the world, right? They already have their tokenized deposit platform through. I call it Connexus. I think some people call it Kinesis. I need to ask someone there the actual
Yeah.
pronunciation. Um, but we're already seeing them transacting and moving money in real time in huge sums across the world on digital rails, right?
Yeah.
So it's less when did the switch happen, and it's more the switch is already here. You know, we're already in a place where TradFi and DeFi are working together almost seamlessly. And now we're talking about how we build that out further to deliver greater services to end users.
That's amazing. Now, stablecoins is at the center of pretty much every conversation within DeFi and TradFi in Europe. As a content manager, how do you approach adding it to your content flow?
So this year we have, well, actually last year we launched the intersection stage in Vegas, which is all about the intersection of TradFi and DeFi, and stablecoins are a huge part of that. So the key way that we did it was by dedicating a stage to this conversation. It's become, like you said, it's the last word almost in crypto at the moment, uh, and in blockchain technology at the moment. So it's less about how do we integrate it, and it's more, if we don't integrate this, then we're ignoring a huge part of the ecosystem. We're all about bringing the ecosystem together, the financial ecosystem together. Why would we ignore it? That it would be a foolish thing for anyone to do, I think.
Now, this is a conversation that we've had on many occasions with many people when it comes to Money 2020. Whenever you go to events for crypto, it's about getting information, getting adoption, pushing adoption, and also when you go to TradFi events, it's also about that mostly. But Money 2020 does something else. It's where deals happen. And then before that, I thought it was just a marketing slogan. Hey, it's where deals happen, but I experienced it firsthand. So how have you guys managed to become not only a hub for financial tech, but also a hub for handshake deals on the spot during an event?
We're really proud of our potential for meetings at the event. Every single one of our conferences is all about facilitating money and deals and encouraging people to come together and to talk with each other and to do deals. We have our new Smart Meet facility, which is one way that we do that, which is essentially meeting and deal matchmaking. So connecting companies with each other who want to talk to each other. We also have, a brilliant app where people can find other really interesting people who they want to speak with. We're also always focused on these deals. We create tons of space for networking, for people to come together and talk, and to really focus on the fact that finance is an interesting and fun industry. It really is. Fintech, especially so. And I think by focusing on the fact that people who come to these events are really engaged in the space, they really want to learn, they really want to understand what other people are doing in the space, is a makes it easy for people to work together and to do deals together. Another great thing is that we have just huge scale. We had, I think, 7,400 plus delegates last year. 1 in 3 is C-suite. So you're not just meeting people who are intelligent and very knowledgeable about the space. You're also meeting with the deal makers. You're meeting with the decision makers who are there on the floor, and they are focused entirely on talking to people in their industry. That's why deals happen here.
Now, based on that same question, AI is becoming to a point where now agentic AI is taking over in a lot of the financial services. So, how do you, from your perspective, dealing with the content, how do you propose bringing content that shows that, hey, the decision making is moving away from people and it's moving towards an AI agent that's going to choose the bank, choose the wallet, choose the card, choose the payment route, and how do we integrate that in what we at Money 2020 are trying to bring to the public?
I think the key way that we're integrating the AI conversation is by recognizing what's happening in the space. So we're talking to people who are deploying the AI agents, creating agentic e-commerce solutions and agentic finance solutions, and really exploring why it is that they're doing what they're doing, sharing on stage why that matters and how it's important it is. It's AI has become a flashpoint technology for the world, right? It's not unique to the financial industry. It's across everything. So I think what we're doing is recognizing the shift, which is something that Money 2020 has always been focused on, is recognizing what matters, why, and when, and platforming it.
That's very good. Now, as you prepare, obviously, you're preparing your content. What are the topics and who are, because we've been looking at the agenda, who do you foresee is going to have a serious impact on the show? So I always call it a show. Money 2020 is a show. So who do you think is going to impact the show this year?
I mean, our delegates always impact the show most. I would say without them, there is no show. You need an audience to have a show. But if we're talking people on stage, we're really excited about loads of our speakers. We have Arjun Sethi, the co-CEO of Kraken. We have Yoni Asia, the CEO of eToro. We have brilliant people from all over the place coming, and all over the world and all over the industries coming. Picking like a few would be almost too impossible to do.
Don't
Um,
worry. In the article, I'll make sure to highlight a few of them for you. I
yeah,
promise. But when it comes down to the conversation itself, do you foresee, in comparison with last year, do you foresee that we're taking steps ahead and becoming a bigger show? Or do you say, everybody come to the show because we are going to deliver to you what you're expecting? Or are you saying, no, come to the show because we're going to blow your mind this year? We're taking
oh,
it steps
I would
further.
I would always say we're going to blow your mind this year. Yeah, like if people ask me about 2026, I would absolutely say that. We have an incredible lineup. We have an incredible agenda. We have so many speakers coming who are not just leaders, they're market leaders, they're industry leaders, they're world leaders in the space. That's what I would say.
Wonderful. You know, it is going back to last year, we were, let's just say, honored to the fact that not only were we said, hey, come to the event, you guys provided us with a location to actually do interviews. And as we were doing the interviews, I kept saying to myself, I am in a very traditional finance space right now, talking to people about how they are going to bring traditional finance to DeFi and from DeFi to traditional finance. Now, in that intersection, what do you expect to happen in the next 2 to 3 months from your perspective as a content manager for such a big show?
First, I don't know if I agree that it's a very traditional finance space, Money 2020. I mean, yeah, we have TradFi there, but I think we've always been at the cutting edge of bringing the new players in TradFi and DeFi onto the stage, onto into the under the tent, let's say.
Yeah.
And but when you ask me what I see happening in the next 2 to 3 months, I think we're seeing some really interesting rebundling happening. We just saw Adyen talking about the acquisition of Talon One uh, to um, to provide loyalty to their customers. I think we're going to see a slightly more in that. We're going to see more integration across the industry of solutions, and really a refocusing on servicing customers in a real way. I think we've had pilots, we've had tests in the AI and the stablecoin space, and now we're going to see a real shift in forwards into how that delivers value to end users, and I mean both consumers from both retail and industry levels, right? So businesses and regular people as well, which I'm quite excited about as a regular person. Like I would,
Okay. Yeah. That's very good. I love how you said I'm quite excited as a regular person. And then the funny thing is, whenever we look at you, we're like, he's not a regular person. He's running one of the biggest shows in the Netherlands. But the slogan that you guys have always brought forward, you are Europe's biggest fintech show. And according to you, you're going to live up to that slogan
absolutely.
again this year. Perfect. So, in conclusion, you know what we are about. We make sure to bring you not only just news, we make sure to bring you information you could act upon. And this is one of those key alpha informations that you should act upon. Money 2020 is coming back to Amsterdam. We were there. We're always gonna be there for now and forever, because as more shows keep coming up, we are gonna get integrated more and more into the scope until we become one market and one space for money. So I will see you guys there. Dunam, I appreciate Dhanum. I appreciate you taking the time to actually sit down with us. And if you had to sum up this interview in one sentence towards those watching, what would you say?
It's great to hear me talk about Money 2020, but
Okay.
you've got to come. You've got to come. You've got to be a part of the conversation. It's the only thing to do.
Be part of the conversation. It's the only thing to do. That is the closing words from Danum. This is Cryptofocus.nl, and we will see you again in our next video. Thank you.